But the playoffs are done. Hull are promoted. Coventry are joining us. Ipswich Town in the Premier League. Happy days. But that leaves 3 teams at home, Matt. Millwall, Middlesbrough, and I want to make a joke there about their Spygate. Actually, before we go any further, obviously Southampton, Spygate did take another traumatic twist. Ipswich Town, Eastleigh. What on earth? What, this story gets stranger and stranger and stranger.
It's like something for Netflix drama, isn't it? Netflix football drama, Spygate.
It's crazy.
Over 6 episodes, 1 season. Yeah, I mean, to go to those lengths that they knew we were training at Eastleigh, to go and buy an Eastleigh tracksuit or get one from somewhere and kind of just merge into the background as staff that was watching the session or whatever. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I mean, I feel so sorry for their fans. Again, we always say, don't we? You know, the actions of clubs are off the pitch. At the end of the day, comes back to bite the fans on the backside because managers will move on and ownership will move on. Yeah, it's the supporters of Southampton will have to front this up for the next year, decade plus. It'll follow them about forever now. It'll follow them about forever. You saw it, I mean, different scenario. You saw it with Sheffield Wednesday, didn't you? The actions of their ownership meant they got minus points. Buggers off. Fans are left with the mess. Same here. Eckhart will probably get the elbow. Don't know what will happen with the ownership. It's the fans that will have to stick it out because that's their red and white in their DNA. And I feel sorry for them. I mean, just think about what we've gone through this season. We've done podcasts and all sorts of things, and fans have travelled up and down the country. They get to the playoffs, taken away from you. Imagine that. You've been on that roller coaster ride, Martin, all season, 46 games, and then suddenly, once you're at the finishing line, because they were favourites for the playoffs, weren't they? Easy. They look like
they would have won yesterday, I would have thought.
Yeah, they look like they would cruise it. And it gets taken away. I mean, just...
Yeah, but it gets taken away because obviously of what transpires. You get 2 more incidences throughout the course of the season. Funnily enough, 2 games they didn't win. Oxford in December and Ipswich Town in April.
It goes back to Christmas then, doesn't it? Because that was Boxing Day, that game. But I mean, why did they feel the need to go and spy on Oxford? I mean, I know they beat us, but they were pretty toothless, weren't they? As a side. I mean, when they came to Portman Road, they were dreadful. But they felt that they had to go and, like you say, didn't improve dividends, did it? And lose. They lose that game. It's really weird.
They lost the game against Oxford, funnily enough, and they drew the game against us. And although they would have, and this is where, obviously, now it all comes out in the summer, you can be feet up, sort of relaxed about it. But I tell you what, I said to you last week, had we been Millwall in this situation, had we missed out on the top 2 by a point and then been knocked out by Hull, my head would have been in space last week. I mean, and you 2 would have had to have dragged me off the air, Matthew, because I would have been livid.
I mean, I still don't think this is the end of it for the EFL. I mean, they'll be thankful that Hull won yesterday, not Middlesbrough, because I think they would have had a lawsuit of Hull saying that they should have been just pushed through into the Premier League. And I think you'll probably see someone like Wrexham will come to the forefront now and saying, well, Southampton should have been taken out earlier and we should have been top 6. So that scenario could still play itself out. Do you know what I mean? So
and that's before you get to any bans.
Yeah, exactly that. So I mean, they booted out of the playoffs. The fines, presumably, is there a fine in there? The big thing is minus 4 points from again next season. Doesn't sound much, does it? When you just
it was 6, but because I think I read an Athletic article that said because they've admitted to 2. Admitted to the Oxford Ipswich Town.
They talked 2 off, did they?
I'm sure it's what I read in the Athletic article at the very least.
Still going to rumble. It's not the end of it. This is still going to.
And people keep telling me it's a £200 million fine. No, it's not. You missed out on the chance to play for £200 million. You weren't fined £200 million. We think you would have won yesterday against Hull, but you very easily could have turned up and gotten beat just the same way Middlesbrough did. But hey, it's done. It's dusted. Although,
how does that club push forward though, Martin? Say Eckhart gets sacked, which is probably
what's going to happen. He's got to.
To me, they'll have to go back to someone who's a bit of a Southampton legend to try and galvanise the fan base. I know Lallana is their under-21s coach. Maybe they elevate him up to the first team coach. Somehow they've got to galvanise a very broken-hearted fan base, and I don't think you do that just by bringing a stranger in. It feels like it needs to be someone that's well known to the club. So I suggest probably not Matt Letizia, but I mean, but someone with connections to the club, I think, is probably how you can probably turn that round. But be very interesting. I mean, what odds Borough versus Southampton kicks off the Championship season live on Sky on Friday night in August?
This is it. This
Yeah,
is it. We've got Oscar talking about Hurst and McBurney. Obviously, one going to the World Cup, one isn't. We've got lots of comments about the Southampton. Sharon says Southampton try to scupper our charted automatic promotion by cheating.
yeah.
Shan't forget that. Yeah, and this
Well, it
is it.
didn't work. It didn't work though, did it?
No, but there's levels to private road with golf course, young lad behind a tree with
Yeah,
an iPhone, to
yeah,
dressing in a kit.
yeah,
There's levels, right? And that's where
yeah.
you start to go from they recognize the surroundings, chance their arm to, "Whoa, this is real."
Has it been disclosed how they spied on Oxford? Like, were they in like yellow and blue tracksuit or something? I mean,
From
that's
the
Eastleigh's
car
colours.
park.
Yeah, I think that's Eastleigh's colours. Maybe, yeah, maybe they used the same thing. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just like
It's
I just
crazy.
find it. I just find it staggering, quite frankly. And as I said earlier, it's going to follow them around for years. This, I mean, certainly their fans and players didn't really know the implications because you had the Harwood Bellis binoculars celebration. He didn't really know. He would never. Well, he said himself, didn't he, on Facebook or message he put out? If it had he known the seriousness of it, the gravity of it, he wouldn't have done it.
Was
You
good
got
though, wasn't it?
supporters. You got supporters rocking up dressed as shrubs.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? They
crazy,
just didn't understand, did
crazy.
they? They just didn't understand the implications of it. Sadly for them.
No. Emily Doyle, there's a lot of rebuilding that clubs need to go through. They've been shattered from the core outwards. Trust is something that takes a long time to earn and quick to lose. Got to get fans back on side. Oscar says, sounds like a Monty Python sketch. Beard, I don't know what information they would have gotten on us. I swear McKenna mixed up the starting of it on the day. And it's a 4-3-3-1 every time. But however, as I was saying, there's
Yeah,
three other teams that didn't make it to the Premier League
yeah.
from the playoffs. This is, of course, Millwall, Middlesbrough, and Southampton. Now, our recruitment show is going to come a little bit later on in the summer. We have still got our squad decisions hitting the channel, which we're absolutely loving your reaction to. So thank you very much for watching it, commenting on it, getting behind it. We really appreciate it. We absolutely love that you're seemingly enjoying those videos. Most are on the platform now. A couple are still to be aired before we have an overview, if you like, or rather, I call up a couple of contributors and say, were they wrong? Were they right? Was sentiment the overriding factor? But are there any players, Matt, from the three teams I've mentioned, Millwall, Middlesbrough, and Southampton, where you think I wouldn't mind Town checking in? I'm not going to hold you to anything right now because, as I say, recruitment shows are coming later in the summer. But is there any players there you wouldn't mind Town certainly checking in and seeing what's the price there because you feel like they could certainly perhaps do a job inside the Premier League?
Got to be careful, haven't we? We've been down this sort of championship recruitment
We certainly have.
process before, and it didn't work out, did it? I mean, there's a scattering of names there, isn't there? Certainly that Melenda, who you called the number 29, just to remind you, at Borough. I think he's a good player. And they got him from the MLS, didn't they? So he only either signed until in January. I think he's a decent defender. I'd imagine he'll have suitors in the Premier League as well. I would have thought. So I think
Agreed.
he's decent. I think the American lad in the middle is quite good for them. Aidan Morris, I think it is, who plays generally would play alongside Hackney. He, of course, is the one that we tried to get. I wonder if he now regrets that decision.
Would you go back in for Hackney? Is
Well,
that player you're looking
I
at?
think Ipswich will go back in for him. Yeah, 100%. I think they will. But I think a mid-table Premier League team would also be looking at him. But I mean, look, he's still untested at that level as well. I mean, it'd be a risk for someone of like a Brentford, and Everton, a Fulham. I think that kind of
And
trio.
Sunderland now in Europe.
Yeah, right on his doorstep. Yeah. Fair play to them, by the way, finishing seventh. I mean, I only said they'd finish bottom with probably the record amount of points. Got that wrong as well.
Well, but from a Town's perspective, let's hope that they have a little bit of an Ipswich Town of 20 odd years ago, where they go up, finishes on a European
Yeah,
place, and
could
then the
happen.
second season
Look
they
at
they get
Forest.
relegated because obviously
Look
that
at
would
Forest.
be only two places left for us, wouldn't it?
Look at Forest in Europe this season. I mean, they got all the way through to what was it, the semi-finals, but I
Mm.
mean, they were touch and go on relegation for a good chunk of the season, weren't they? I'd say at least three quarters of it. So I think they will go in for Hackney, but like I say, mid-table Premier League sides, like I say, Fulham and the like, I think they'll probably be looking at him. But again, would he be a regular starter with them? Probably a squad player, I would have thought. So he'd probably have more of a chance playing with Town, but we'll have to work out whether or not we think he could do the job for us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they're kind of the obvious ones. And probably at Southampton, I think that Ryan Manning, who plays left back there, I think he would be a really good foil for Davis. He's quick, gets forward. I mean, he's more of a left wing back, really. Got a really good set piece delivery. That would take a lot of pressure off Davis, I think, in the Premier League, because last time we was up there, we were thinking, oh, he'd be making his England debut in September, and he got found out a bit defensively, didn't he? So I think to take the pressure off his shoulders slightly, I think someone like Manning would be a good acquisition for us. And we need another left back, because Townsend's probably going to get let go, isn't he? Having not kicked a ball all season. Dependable player, very good defender, I think, Townsend. But I would say someone like a Ryan Manning is a level above. So they're probably the ones I would probably look at. That Larin was quite good up top for Southampton, wasn't he? He was on loan from Real Mallorca.
Any interest in Coburn?
I don't think he's not good enough in the Premier League. I don't think George Hurst or Ivan are good enough in the Premier League, so I'm not going to suggest that Coburn is either. But I mean, you never know, do you? I mean, players do surprise you. But again, as we suggest now, we have been down this route before and it didn't work out for us. So I think we're probably going to have to cast our net further afield than the division we've just come out of.
Absolutely. But it doesn't mean there's not any particular player down there you wouldn't think could improve or certainly be a good option.
Well, Aziz is the one, isn't it? Aziz is the one they really wanted. Well, Aziz and Hackney were the ones they wanted, wasn't it? They put in bids for both. And neither wanted to come. Well, maybe Aziz did want to come, but Millwall weren't going to sell him to us in January. And I think his delivery is really good. He's 2-footed, plays on the right-hand side, crosses the ball really nicely. But again, untested at this level. I feel like probably Ipswich can get someone for better value, because you're going to be looking at least, upwards of 20 million for him. I think Ipswich could probably get someone of better value that's playing top flight, albeit not in this country, but maybe on the continent somewhere, that's got just as good a delivery. I mean, that's what you're buying, isn't it? The delivery that he's got, I think. Maybe a bit of a goal threat in there somewhere. Well, I'd suggest put any of those front three positions behind the striker needs to have some kind of goal threat, because we know the number 9s don't seem to do it in a McKenna team, certainly.
Norman says Aziz not good enough for the Premier League. Leighton says Davis should not even be considered as left back. Come on, lads, 3 goals and 6 assists in 2 seasons. I mean, that, yeah. I mean, all right.
That's glossing over how good he was in that first championship spell, wasn't it?
That's where I was going to go with that, and I thought, no, I'll let that speak. I mean, Southampton, obviously, having just been relegated the year before, the year with us, have got a couple of quality players you would certainly look at. But I'd say who really sort of may interest me more as I go through the summer is Charles, their midfield player. I think he could be a really good asset to have as somebody behind Matasiwa. You're not going to displace Matasiwa at this point, but I think looking at his statistics today, as I was doing, really had a good season. I know he's interested in a number of Premier League clubs already.
Yeah.
Could be a good midfield player there. Lots and lots of room to grow as a midfield player.
Agreed.
Could eventually become a transitional midfielder, but for now it'd be seen as a more defensive midfielder stroke cover.
Yeah.
Many are going to say Flynn Downs, but I think Charles.
Yes, of course. I mean, look, do we go back for Flynn? There was rumours of him, wasn't there? I think Shay Charles is a shout. I mean, that's the brother of the Sheffield Wednesday keeper, isn't it? Pierce Charles. That's his brother. I think he's a good player. But again, I feel like we're falling into this trap of, can they step up into the Premier League? And my big thing for next season, Martin, is that our bench needs to be really strong to give Ipswich a chance over the 90 minutes. We didn't have that last time we was in the Premier League, did we? We had a drop. As when you're playing the likes of a Fulham and Everton, whoever, they're making substitutions against the likes of Ipswich and the teams that have come up, and their bench is that much stronger than ours. What's got us over the line in the Championship this season is that we've had such a strong bench. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to have a bench that would match that of the top 10 in the Premier League or anything, but certainly we can't afford any kind of drop off, in that last half an hour of games. No. So whether or not your squad players then is like, that's going to be your Shay Charles coming on, isn't it? Or Flynn Downs, whoever it might be. I've got a question mark whether or not they would improve us in that last half an hour, but who knows? But again, look, we're not Manchester City either. We do have to cut our cloth accordingly. We are Ipswich. We might be able to get some players from the continent, and I imagine we probably will get some players out of the Championship. We'll just it will remain to see who they are. I'll tell you who is good in their midfield as well, actually. It's Kasper Janda, who they signed from Nuremberg. Yes. He's a young player. I think he's I think he's a decent player as well. We're getting into recruitment territory here. You want to save this, don't you? But I mean,
Well,
I
it's just no,
think
because
he's
there's a
decent.
number of players there, and I just think,
Yeah, there
you
is.
have to sprinkle these players into the squad, and I hear what you're saying, and I think maybe in Charles's case, it's much easier to carry a defensive midfield player and bring him
Yeah,
along than it is
yeah,
to try and rely on him to score goals to keep you up, which is what we last time we were here, we were relying on a lot of players making their step up from the Championship to the Premier League
yeah,
to try and score enough goals to keep you in the keep you there. And Jack Clark, for example, um, didn't didn't register a goal in the Premier League campaign. That he was brought in to try and score you goals to keep you promoted, and
yeah,
it's always that fine balancing act. But as you say, you're not Man City, so you have also got to try and keep an eye on the future for where you're going and where you want to get to, but also keep an eye on the present. And that's the tricky part that we're going to try and
yeah.
tackle throughout the course of the summer. I tell you what, I have got right. The platform might have changed, albeit admittedly only perhaps this week, but some things don't. Our voice messages we have got. I've got one for you here, Matt. All right, it's our friend Uncle Tony.
Okay.
Are you? I love Uncle Tony's voice messages. They're
Yeah.
brilliant. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Let's go.
Hello, Martin. It's Uncle Tony here. Thank you for your kind words the other day. And Matt, 10 out of 10. I'm out of the wilderness. Hi, guys. I got another song for you. Philogene is like no other. He gets the ball and has your defence on the run as he scores another one. Martin, have you noticed that since the American takeover and Kieran and Mark Ashton came to town, the fans and the club are more connected? And I think this has been shown really with the songs that have been created over the last few years. I mean, the Sarmiento song, Nathan Broadhead, Sammy Morsey, Wes Burns, among others. But what about the Nunes in your head? I mean, that's just pure genius, isn't it? I mean, these players have brought joy and excitement. And I think the songs have basically just shown our appreciation. And even the players are singing their own songs in the celebration clips that I've seen. Unlike the Marcus Evans years that brought me to tears, I couldn't find the time to make up a rhyme. I used to sit there and watch the clock as I suffered from writer's block, and even higher to admit that I thought we were, sorry, not very good. But now it's different, isn't it? 3 promotions in 4 years. Let's just hope we can have a staying up party next year with the right recruitment. And I believe that we need to bring in quality and not quantity this time and spend the money wisely. And we certainly need to be better at home. But that's where you
Mhm.
wonderful town fans can make all the difference. Just like the QPR game. What an atmosphere. So keep on singing, even if it's as bad as mine. It doesn't matter. It's all about the noise and the passion. And Gov, don't forget, who wears baggy shorts? Jack Clark. Who wears baggy shorts? Jack Clark. Every time he's on the ball, there's a chance he's gonna score. Azor Matasiwa. Azor Matasiwa plays in the centre. Azor Matasiwa, you won't get better. When
And there is Uncle Tony.
Very creative. I mean, 10 out of 10 for creativity. It's very good.
I
Yeah.
love every single voice message we ever get. One more to play. Not Uncle Tony, by the way, as we close the show. But look, I always laugh when I listen to Uncle Tony. It's something about the Suffolk accent, and it's just I love it.
We need to have a collaboration between Uncle Tony and Frank from Holland with his rhyming
Yes,
strengths. Put the two together.
yes, we
Do you know what I
do.
mean?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
You know,
Okay.
talking of songs, did you? I don't know if you saw this on BBC Suffolk. They were talking about how the Edward Ebenezer Brown track was put together back
I did.
in the 60s. It was quite interesting to me. Are you a fan of that song?
I am.
You like it? It's
Not
okay, isn't it? It's all
not
right. I mean, it sounds a
yeah.
bit. I mean, what I really like is that Coventry, the Enemy song. We'll live and die in these towns. I think that's a real fantastic club anthem. I think it's called "Come on the Town," isn't it? I don't know. It just sounds a bit dated to me, really. But I mean, it's good that it's. I mean, it's been around 50 years, so it's good. It's getting a bit of an airing. But I think I personally would prefer something like what Coventry have got.
Yeah. I like it. I'm not in love with it as some other people are. I'll be honest, and I do.
I like singing it, but it just sounds a bit dated to me. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I didn't ever think it would really catch on in the stadium, and then they put the words on the
yeah,
screen, which I think really helps because it is quite wordy for what is a from what is most football chants.
Yeah.
Most football chants generally aren't that wordy, right? Like,
It's
"Hey Jude," for example. "No,
yeah.
no, no, no. Hey, hey, Ipswich." That ain't wordy at all. That's easy to get. You can hear it once and you know what the
Blue
words are.
Moon. Blue Moon for
Yeah,
Manchester City.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's
when
unique though. I'll give it. I like the unique factor of it,
yeah,
but I don't know. Also, I just feel like I wish we had something a bit cooler, maybe. Galvanizes the fan base a little bit more like that Coventry one.
yeah. Whereas I always like singing the blues.
Oh,
That
I
was
hate that.
always I
That's just
always like
cheesy
that.
pub rock. That's like status quo pub rock, that, isn't it?
Well, that is most
Oh,
football
yeah,
chants,
true.
though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's why it
yeah,
worked. And you can sing, when Ipswich win and Norwich lose.
yeah, true.
What more could you want
I
from a
see all
tune?
of these, by the way, in this when it's the time in the stadium. But I just, just sitting back, just
Mm.
thinking, oh, I just wish we had something a little bit better, maybe. But it's all good. Uncle
But yeah,
Tony, then something.
yeah, but no, it's great that it has caught on, and I think the lyrics on the screens have helped that situation. Beard says, "Whose uncle is Uncle Tony?" Though we don't know,
Good
Beard.
point. Yeah,
We
we don't
just
know.
don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. Someone sat at home somewhere saying Uncle Tony's on Talking Town again, but
Yeah.
we don't know whose uncle he is. All right, look, the Premier League is set because obviously last day, well, there was no drama in the end.
No,
West Ham
no.
beat Leeds convincingly, and Everton were well to me, Matt. They looked like they were perhaps on the beach a
They were
little bit,
toothless, is what they
a little
were.
bit
They didn't even
early.
have a shot until the 98th minute. It was the worst opposition. If you're a West Ham fan, Spurs playing them was the worst opposition you could hope for, wasn't it? You needed someone like a Sunderland, really, a team that had uh, the bit between their teeth and had something to play for. Everton had nothing to play for. And I think where the killer blow for West Ham really was Spurs winning at Villa. They seemed to take that game off Villa in between,
Yeah.
the game in between the games, the semi-final games against Forest. Yeah, odd, very very odd. That's the game that kind of got Spurs safe, I think. But I mean, they've got to 41 points, Tottenham, so fair play to them. Everyone's always said 40 was always the mark, wasn't it? Well, for many years, it hasn't been. I mean, I think 26, 27 points kept you up in the season we went down, right? 2 seasons ago. So, fair play to them. I mean, West Ham are unlucky as well. They've gone down 39. I mean, that's sometimes got you up near the mid-table, hasn't it?
It has.
In other
It
seasons.
has.
I mean, they got relegated on 44 once, I think. Something similar, something like that. 42, 44. Previously. So gutted. So West Ham are down. I would suggest that Ipswich fans would want to visit the Spurs Stadium over the West Ham one, I would say. I mean, far better venue to go and visit.
Those that didn't go last time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've been there, haven't you? You saw the Bears there.
I saw the Bears there. Yeah, I've seen many NFL teams there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice stadium. I would have preferred Tottenham to go down.
I'd like to have seen how, as we said before we came on here, I'd like to have seen how they would have coped in the Championship, because that would have been the biggest relegation in the modern era, easily. It's probably since Man United. The famous one, wasn't it? Dennis Law backhilled Man United into the second division when he played for Manchester City. It probably would have been the biggest one since then. Spurs have been down in the 70s. I think they were down the year we won the cup. I mean, Colin was sharing about it. In the year we won the cup, 77, 78, I think Spurs were a second division team at that point. But certainly in the modern era, imagine that stadium hosting as everyone was, what Spurs fans were worried about, having to play Lincoln and the like. Do you know what I mean? So would have been interesting. Would have been an interesting spectacle, but West Ham going to have to deal with that now.
They are, yeah. Obviously, Millwall, they'll have the Derby return.
Yeah.
To London.
I bet London police are well happy about that.
Yeah, yeah. I would have much preferred to see Tottenham go down, purely because I don't think Tottenham can be this bad next season, particularly under a decent manager that they've now finally got. Whereas West Ham seemingly always seem to be like just a bad team.
Floating in and around and just doing enough to get over. Well, I mean, in other seasons, this would have been enough for them to escape, but it wasn't this time around, was it? I'm pleased with De Zerbi. He's done really well since he got in there. And he seems a good character as well. He's animated, he's passionate. He's got an element of positivity about him, which I don't think you got.
He's a good manager.
You didn't get that from Igor Tudor, did you? He seemed very sort of introverted character, and I think that probably played out in Spurs' performances. But yeah, I like De Zerbi. I think he's got something about him. It looks like you could have a good night out with him. Do you know what I mean? And it's obviously rubbed off on the players because it's got them over the line. So fair play to them. And Ipswich fans can look forward to going the next season. Brilliant.
Yep. And also, as you've already mentioned, it obviously marks the more traditional 40 points, which could be a more bit of a bigger concern for us next year if that's going to
That'd be a
be
huge concern if
the
you need
return,
40 points to stay
the
up.
return of the norm, and it could well be the return of the norm from next year. You know, this Premier League team season league, whatever you want to say, a lot of unknowns in it. Sunderland, will they manage Europe and
Yeah,
the second season? Will Leeds
yeah,
manage the second season? How will they
yeah.
strengthen? Obviously, Daniel Farke recently in the new, in the media saying we'll know through conversations, and something along those lines of, if I'm not being backed or I don't feel like I've got the support, I'll walk or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So already you've got a summer there to consider and monitor. You've got other unknowns: Coventry, Hull, Ipswich. How will they manage it? How will Nottingham Forest do again next season? They looked really good in parts,
Man
but
City, the points lost
Man
comes
City
in.
and the Charges,
I mean,
absolutely.
this is my theory. I mean, this is not based on anything, but Maresca is the rumour to go in and replace Guardiola, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's a very underwhelming appointment, don't you think, to replace Guardiola when you're Manchester City and you could have the pick of any manager they wanted coming out of the World Cup, whoever. That seems a very underwhelming appointment, given that he went in at Chelsea, won them the Club World Cup, but got sacked. So it makes me wonder: is the Charges coming? And that's the
Well,
manager who will be a stopgap for them to negotiate what could be pretty stormy waters, you would imagine.
I speak on behalf of most Town fans, if not all Town fans. I hope so, and I
This
hope
is
there
you
be,
rang me about this
and I
when you
hope
got
there are
relegated,
many.
didn't you? So, yeah.
And I hope there are lots and lots of many, because if you were to suddenly live in a world where it was only 2 places up for grabs in terms of going down, you're looking a little bit better. Not, you still got to go out there and play the games, but it's an unpredictable campaign, really. With Wolves going, established Premier League team, West Ham going, established Premier League team, 2 teams having to manage a second season syndrome bounce that always seems to be there for clubs. How will Hull do?
Are you saying there's a chance, Martin? Is there a chance?
Well, Andy's saying Sunderland's the roadmap. It has to be upper town, and I'm kind of thinking, yeah, that'd be great, but I would just take 17th.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. No,
You know what I
let's
mean?
not start getting into this realm again of I feel like we could finish in Europe.
Like,
17th is the aim.
yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. What the roadmap actually is to try and emulate a Brighton, a Bournemouth, a Brentford, the bees, the killer bees. That's the roadmap for us, I think. I think probably Brentford is the one. I mean, again, a team that we both said we thought would get relegated, mine, under Keith Andrews, untried, untested manager, sold their best players in Buomo, Vissa. Look how well they've done. They've just finished on the periphery of Europe themselves.
Done excellent, haven't they?
And that's by selling, they replaced him with that. Was it Igor? Igor, I think it was the Brazilian striker. He scored a lot of goals for them. Oh, look, a good number 9 can do wonders for you. Do you know what I mean?
See, as Mark said, we'll take 17th, but got to aim higher. I don't think you have got to aim higher at this
No,
moment.
you haven't got not this juncture. You haven't.
No, just survive. That's the aim of the game, right?
The only
Because
issue with-
those bees only got to be the killer bees, as you just christened them, by surviving. You've got to survive.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Brentford have never been in relegation trouble, particularly, have they? They've floated around there, but they've never sort of said. You've never heard Sky Sports go, Brentford are in real big trouble here. They've sort of flirted around there, but always had enough points on the board. That's what we've got to emulate. That's really the blueprint. I mean, Sunderland is a blueprint to some extent, isn't it? But it's a blueprint by the fact that we all said they were going to finish bottom and they finished in Europe. Fantastic for them. But I would suggest that they, as we've said before, French manager, French ownership, I think they're probably much better connected into Europe than what Ipswich were at the first time we went back in. Might be a different story now. You've got Mick Court and the like have come in from Manchester United. I'll suggest he will be. Otherwise, they wouldn't have come in from such a huge, massive global club into Bournemouth Road. So I think we will be better placed. But the proof will be in the pudding in the signings, won't it?
It will. And you've still got to play the games. You can sign what is on paper really exciting players. And we did last time. But you got to play the game, and you've got to turn those draws into wins, really.
But look at those Everton strikers they've got, Beto and that Barry. That Barry started the game today for Everton against Tottenham. I'd argue Barry from EastEnders would have been better up front for him, Martin. I mean, they paid nearly 30 million for him from Villarreal. I mean, he just looked useless to me. Sorry, Barry. He just looked rubbish to me. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we're better off keeping Hurst than Ivan if that's the value for money you get for for 30 million.
I'm still recovering from last week when I had to try when I made a pitch to try and keep Az on, and the comments, some were good, some were unkind, some were fairly accurate. So I'll live
No,
with
I
that.
mean, look, I like Ivan, and I like George Hurst as well. But then they're not going to score goals for us in the Premier League. They're just not.
Well, you'll have to go and watch the video, Matthew, because I didn't say he would be starting, but I'll leave the
Or from
teaser
the
there.
bench. I mean, it comes back to our bench thing here as well. You've got to have a strong bench to keep you in the game. Ivan is not going to do that for us, unfortunately. As much as I like him, and I like him as a character, and I like him representing town,
I
he's
put
not
forward
gonna
my
do-
case. That's all I'm going to say. All right, so I'll let you go and watch it, and then we can have a
Well,
conversation
I'd like to be,
about it another
if he
time.
does stick around, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. But of course, Como, the club he's come from, have got into the Europa League, so he might fancy that. Might fancy that gig more.
He
That's
could
what
well
I'm saying.
do. He could well do. Don't forget, we are partner with Stowmarket Osteopaths, quality care and stomach since 1985. That's osteopath, physiotherapy, counselling, other services. Hit the link in the description. Check out their website to see a full range of their services, or give them a call Tuesday morning, or whatever morning you happen to be watching this. Unless it's a weekend, then obviously don't. But 01449 613 633. That's 01449 613 633. Now, Connor Chaplin sadly has departed the football club, Matt, and I couldn't let this opportunity pass without hearing your thoughts on it, because you, at one point last season, had a Connor Chaplin swear glass. You didn't personally, I did, because every time we had a show, it seemingly you had to mention Connor Chaplin. Before you do, I have got a voice message I should have played last week, but the Aziz sort of rumor link dropped and then sort of threw me out a little bit. So here is our voice message on Chaplin leaving from our mate Bjorn.
Evening, Gov, or afternoon, or morning, whenever it gets you, because we're closed season now, so timescales don't apply to human people anymore. I just want to pop on this evening, as it is Friday evening, and just say, tinge of sadness really with it, but a massive thank you to Connor Chaplin. Enigmatic, number 10, electric goal scorer, genuine, just seems like just the nicest bloke. Love the club, love the shirt, love the badge, love the town, love the county, seems like. You know, the goals he scored, the 13th the promotion season, the setup for the best goal ever was Burns he scored, the goal against Hull, that beautifully curled cross, the free kicks, just the header against Sunderland where he had no right to win that header and score. Just a fantastic player in a fantastic time for our club. And I want to say, from me and my son Archie, thank you, Connor Chaplin. You've been superb. Complete professional. Hindsight wise, I'd have kept him this year. I think he'd have fitted in lovely in the 10. But anyway, whatever. It's done. Thank you, Connor. Connor Chaplin, baby. Connor Chaplin. Oh. Right. Talking town. Let's do more videos. I need to pop on. I need to put my face on one of them, I think.
Yes, you do.
I've got a face for radio, but we'll just see how it goes. Up a 10.
You do need to pop on 110%. But first of all, Matt, I know a lot of summer's got to be played out since yet, but Bjorn there saying it'd have kept him around, could have done a decent job in the 10 next season. Your thoughts on that one before you give us your own thoughts on Connor leaving?
He didn't really feature that often, did he, in the first Premier League spell, which probably tells you where McKenna's mindset was on him. I couldn't put it any different or any better than what Bjorn said right there. I mean, just fantastic tribute to Connor's career at Town. It saddens me to think that we've had to pay 7 million for Chuba Akpom, and I think Connor Chaplin is a far better player than him. But Kieran is in charge of the side, and he makes the decisions, and that's what's happened. It'll be interesting to see if Akpom is actually part of the squad or will get loaned back into the Championship for next season. But Connor's been a fantastic servant for us, as Bjorn rightly says, on and off the pitch, worked with the foundation, fantastic footballer, done so many things so well, brilliant pass through the ball, reads the game fantastically, great volleyer of a ball, the header against Sunderland for such a diminutive player, fantastic. Just all-round brilliant footballer, and it seems an all-round brilliant guy. And he even came on Talking Town, Martin. I mean, that's the cherry on the cake, isn't it? We even got to interview him on here. So fantastic career for us, alongside Wes, one of the poster boys of that McKenna era of League One through to the Premier League. And thanks very much for everything. He's been brilliant for us. I hope he gets a really good move. I hope he can be part of a promotion push in the Championship next season. I think any club that gets him is going to be in contention if it's the team that's going to be, top 8 as the playoffs will be for in the Championship next season. Hope he gets a really good move, and I hope he gets another bite at promotion. Really do.
100%. Yeah, agree with that. Absolute living legend. Love him. Absolutely love him. We'll love him forevermore. But sentiment can't play a part, as you know.
Nothing lasts forever, does it? Nothing lasts forever. But we'll see. Onto a new era in the Premier League. Anyway, it's time for new heroes to come forward, and if they can keep us out of the relegation zone in 17th, which Tottenham seem to have their backside on that seat at the moment, don't they? 17th position the last 2 seasons. If we can finish there, then new heroes will be made, and we can hopefully we'll really then push on and see what this club is made of.
100%. Well, anyway, there we go. Do check out our squad decisions. We've got another 1 or 2 coming out before the end of the week. The whole series is on the platform. Go and give them a watch. Then we'll give them a review. We've got the recruitment shows coming up. We're also going to review last year's recruitment. We spoke about it often in the season, how we'll get into the season and look at the recruitment of last summer and judge it and rate it. Just because we got promoted doesn't mean we won't be doing that. Will sentiment cloud our thoughts now compared to when we were perhaps saying it in various points of the season? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't done the show yet. I can't tell you. But it'll be interesting to see how we got on last summer because, one promotion, but not every player worked out. Is it fair to say? I don't know, actually. I've not really thought about it. See, sentiment already.
Well, you'd argue Connor's replacement in Tuber Akpom certainly didn't work out, and we've had to pay 7 million for it. That's not Tuber's fault that we've had to pay that money, but
no, that's the club's fault.
Yeah, certainly that's just the nature of the deal, isn't it? But yeah, there we are.
There we go. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us on this summer's Talking Town.